Well, I wanted to come back with a bang today, and I want to talk about cells, and I want to get us on a three-part series journey where we're talking about cells. We're talking about what it is that we're selling and how we go about that, what we're doing effectively, what we need help with. And by the end of the series, I want to get us to the objections. How do you, what are the objections that are coming about, and how do you overcome those in a way that is, you feel confident and you know how to respond to those, and you really gain a client or a customer. So I wanted to start off with a conversation about what exactly it is that you're selling. So did you all get the worksheet, the Google worksheet?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to share the link. It's on a Google Doc, and I will share the link, but remember, you have to save it to your own computer because this is a live document. So hold on just one moment and let me pull this for you. And I'm going to post this in chat so that you can pull up the worksheet. All right, there you go. Oh, I see you all. Okay, so we've got some. I love those little figures that pop up in the Google Docs. Sometimes, we have an anonymous buffalo. We've got the anonymous pumpkin. And this one is the anonymous moose. All right. And I am going to share my screen with you all. All right. All right, so as you are saving that to you, I'd really like, let's just have a discussion very quickly about what exactly is it that you sell? Do you sell a product? Do you sell a service? You might be selling quite a few things, but let's just get that out on the table so that we know, what it is you're selling, because what you sell has a major impact and influence on how you sell. So let's just start with Dee Dee. Dee Dee, what do you sell?
I sell coaching services to corporate leaders and HR professionals for their personal and professional growth.
Okay. Very good. All right. And then Kathy.
I sell coaching services to HiPOT females and leaders in and around manufacturing environments.
Okay.
And I also do business transformation advising. And I have a number of training classes that I can also do.
Okay. So you also sell books, right?
I'm trying, yeah.
Yeah, so you do have, so when, I like to just put that out there because, we do have products and services, and there are just totally different approaches to that. Just to give you an example, so, if I'm a coach, I'm selling coaching services, and that's more of a, hey, let's build a relationship, let's get to know each other kind of thing, versus a book, which is more of an instantaneous buy. Or even at the VIP center when we're selling event space, it requires, you are selling a product basically, and people want you to be responsive and they'll make a decision on the fly. So we want to keep that in our mind, and separating out the way that we look at those so that we approach them the right way. Okay, all right. So Tiffany, what do you sell?
So I also sell coaching services to women who run service-based businesses that are unhappy with their business.
So what is it that they're unhappy about?
So how I define it is everybody has a vision for their business when they first get started of where they want it to go. And so for whatever reason, they either haven't reached that vision or maybe they got it and they realize, okay, that's not really what I wanted. So it's helping them get to whatever that new vision is. I call that their dream business.
Okay.
And then I also sell digital products for right now, but I'll probably also get into physical at some point.
Okay. All right. So are you talking about basically online courses or
Workbooks? I have 3 workbooks for each of the stages of business: startup, grow up, and scale up.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. What services do you sell? We're just going ahead and declaring that right now.
Okay, I sell HR consulting services.
Okay. All right. To who's your main audience?
Oh, yeah, to small to medium-sized businesses.
Okay. Okay. And so now I want you to I'm going to give you a chance here to do a little bit of jotting down of some things. So first of all, with your product and services, what is your client's investment? Okay. And notice I didn't use the word cost, because we want to go ahead and start reframing the way that we're articulating our services and products. I mean, your client is making an investment, and when you imply investment, that means that they're going to get something back out of it. There's a return on investment. Typically, when you say, here's your cost, there's automatically just a minus sign that pops up psychologically for them. So I want you to take a few minutes to jot down, okay, what's your client's investment? This is actual dollars. And then I want you to take some time to jot down your thoughts on how does this help your buyer? So if you think about your services, I want you to try to think specifically, what are the benefits of it? What are the features that they get? And, is there a problem that's solved? Well, hopefully it is solving a problem, but what is the problem that is actually solved for them? So let's take about 5 minutes to jot down those thoughts. And then we'll go into a breakout after that and you guys can share with each other.
And Angie, I'm sorry, did you say don't necessarily think of cost when it comes to investment?
No, what I'm saying is the terminology, I like to say, their investment versus cost, because cost is, when you say cost, it automatically produces a minus sign in my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
But what you want to do is you want to put, what would they actually be paying for your service? Okay. All righty. Welcome back, ladies. All right. So why don't we start? Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with Amanda and Tiffany. You guys were in room 1. So tell me what you talked about.
I would actually like Amanda to finish her thought because I had ran off for a little bit and I didn't realize we broke out. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I think I was just talking about kind of my fee structure. So for HR technology solutions and compliance, I haven't really created set packages for those. I really just quote them based on the project scope. So But what Tiffany and I talked about was what she has set up for her current business for coaching. So she does have a coaching package that is 8 sessions over 4 months. And it seems to be working well for her. And she's considering and piloted it last year, like a one-time coaching session that really focuses on a specific problem or issue. And it's something that it sounds like you were undecided of whether or not you really want to offer that ongoing, but you're thinking about it. What I really liked is that at the end of her 8-week coaching session that she does offer kind of a month-to-month ongoing accountability partner for her business clients. So that way stays connected with them and can continue to help them grow their business. And so I think I thought that was a really great idea. Yeah, so that's what we talked about.
Okay. All right. Anything that you would add, Tiffany?
No, Amanda did a great job, and I felt bad because I didn't realize we had broken out. So that's about it.
Okay.
No worries, no worries. All right, so Dee Dee and Kathy.
Yeah, so we talked about, we were both into coaching services, and we talked about, the investments of time and money and how we have different rates depending on if it's a corporate client or a personal client. And then Dee Dee had some really just great things that I added to my sheet about working with clients who have open minds and, kind of being selective of who we work with from an attitude and support standpoint.
Yeah.
And then the services we talked about were, helping develop their organizational culture, their people, their future leaders, and she also talked about how she has a portfolio of personal client coaching services, but she also partners with a couple of other organizations with their rate fees and their programs and their certifications. I haven't quite done that yet. So, and then for my book, I said you're getting a real life case study with a transformation roadmap and inspiration for, current manufacturing leaders. So,
yeah. Okay.
And I'm working on that portfolio. I'm working on that. I'm working on my group coaching program for HR professionals.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to say, the good news is I see all of you are coaches, and so that process of selling your coaching services it really is a process. It's a relationship building in a short amount of time. But the good news is what we're going to do in this will help you as a coach or a consultant to sell your packages and your services more effectively. So curious as to how many of you in here have a service, a package that you feel really confident about, that you're really confident that you can sell that no matter what. All right, Kathy. So I'm going to ask you to sell me your service. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to give you a couple of minutes here. I'll give everybody a chance to do this because I do want everybody to practice, but we'll do a demo practice first, and then I'll put you all into breakouts, and we'll probably have enough time for one of you to sell to the other person. But we want to just get right on the bicycle and ride this, and let's see what you do. Let's take just a couple of minutes, prepare to sell. So I have a block here. If there are any notes that you want to just capture for yourself so that you'll remember, that's absolutely fine. And whether you're selling to me or you're selling to your partner in your breakout. So a couple minutes to jot down any last minute notes that you want to capture. All right, Kathy, are you ready?
Not really, but I think you're going to make me.
Okay, well, let's set the stage here. So we're going to say that I am a high potential female in a manufacturing and environment, and I am looking for coaching.
Okay. So Angie, we've been talking for a while now about what your needs are and what some of your struggles are being a female leader in a male dominated area. And I'm excited to tell you about a series of workshops that I've put together for my coaching clients. So it's a combination of a lesson and how that lesson applies to what you're doing, as well as what are your current struggles that you're dealing with in your operation. So I want you to be successful. And so what I've done is put together 12 modules based on my multiple decades of leading large organizations, having been there, done that, and the research associated with human flourishing that is so helpful and contains all the lessons I wish people had told me in my 20s and 30s that I learned the hard way. But having gone back to school, gotten my master's in applied positive psychology, I now have the science that I can share with you on how these become success factors. So what I'd like to know is if you're interested in the 12 session package, which we do twice a month over 6 months. So we have time to really dig in, develop, or if you're interested in just individual sessions and seeing where this relationship goes.
So I'm not ready to commit to all of that yet. I think I want to, talk a little bit more about, how this is going to help me be more successful in the business. I mean, I know that we talked briefly over the phone about, what I'm struggling with, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I know what I'm struggling with. How can you help me?
So the lessons that I've put together are things that the science says will help you flourish in your life, and work is a part of your life.
Mhm.
So the first part is about knowing your strengths. Can you name off your character strengths right now and how to further develop them or use them?
My character strengths. So when you say character strengths, is that just like, what I'm good at? Is that what you mean?
Well, it's those parts of your personality and that unique combination that makes you uniquely you,
Mhm.
and to bring your unique gifts and talents into the world. So we have an assessment we do on that.
Okay.
Optimism and the benefits of optimism, scientifically, how it's shown for people actually live longer if they have an optimistic outlook in terms of their perspective and the pervasiveness of challenges that come up.
Mhm.
Resilience.
Mm.
We talk about allyship and role models. So a lot of things that are applicable in your daily life, particularly your working life.
Okay. Yeah. So I would just say, in terms of what my strengths are, I'm responsive. I mean, that's one reason why I've been able to move up in the organization, is because I respond very quickly and get things done. But sometimes I'm responsive to my detriment, so that gets me in trouble as well. And so that it gets really painful and uncomfortable because I struggle to keep boundaries about when I respond and all of that. So I just know that I have some pain. I want to grow, and I want to build more resilience, but I also want to find a way to quit getting stuck in this cycle of just getting in my own way of being successful, but also with, I need some joy in my life. I'm not having that right now, even though everything looks wonderful and successful.
Yeah, I completely understand and have had some of those challenges myself. And what I would say is many of these concepts can help you with those, and we can specifically work on setting boundary conditions as well, if that's what your main concern is.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. So, okay, it sounds interesting. So you have a program. I think you said like 12 something.
12
That seems-
sessions.
12
If you
sessions.
go with that pre-designed package.
Okay. And what would I get if I did that package?
So you would get 12 hours of personalized coaching with access to the assessments and the lessons that you can keep. And I also, if you have a situation that comes up, will respond to you within 24 hours if we need to walk through something in between the 2 weeks when we're not meeting, where you just, have an emergency or need to run something by me as you're practicing some of the skills that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I think I want to think about it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a big investment of
Mhm.
your time. And so can we set a time where we can check back in and see
Sure.
what current thinking is?
Sure. We'll do that. So, okay. All right. So let's do a timeout. All right.
Okay.
First of all, let's give her a round of applause for being the volunteer. Yay. All right. Let's give some feedback here. So what do we feel like, or Kathy, let's just start with you. What do you feel like worked?
For me, when I'm dealing with individual clients, which is who you were portraying, I try to come off as approachable and not like in your face, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So I think that's one of the things that works for me is just trying to be down to earth and connect without being too aggressively selling.
Mhm. Right. And just like mowing over them and saying, here's the package and buy now.
Yeah. I don't respond well to that. And I don't appreciate when people do that to me.
Yes.
So I don't like to do that to other people.
Yeah. That's a great point too. When we're thinking about selling to others, we really need to shift our mindset from selling to serving. Because serving it's more relational. And when we're serving people, in order to serve people, we need to have a deeper understanding of what it is that they're needing. And sometimes those people don't even know what it is that they need.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else do you feel like worked?
Being able to connect your needs to the program that I'm selling.
Okay. Okay. Connecting the needs to the program. Okay. So let's hear from the rest of you. What were some things that you felt like worked well?
I liked, and I wrote this down, that she gave an opportunity to go through it, I think, as a group. No, did you offer group sessions or individual? Whoop.
I do offer group sessions, but I was just selling to her as an individual.
Okay, but it sounded like you almost gave her an option.
Oh,
Well,
I don't
she's
remember
talking
that.
about, what I remember you saying was you talked about the 12 sessions, but then you were like, if that's too big, I don't know what the verb you
Of a
used.
commitment. Yeah, if that's
You could do this individual, and I didn't understand really what that meant, but I thought maybe you meant like a one-time coaching session or a particular problem for coaching.
yeah. Maybe I didn't articulate that real well, but some people don't want to commit to 12 sessions in a structured program. They just want to coach for whatever's going on in their life. So that meant we could just go on a as needed basis for one-to-one coaching.
And I thought doing that, instead of all or nothing, you gave them you still gave them coaching options. So I thought that was positive. I like that. It felt good and it felt like I cared. So if you don't want to really do this, because I understand, you can still maybe get some remedy by doing this. And then from the outside looking in, I just felt like there was some credibility when you talked about your own experience and even your book. And so I'm like, whoop, she just legitimized herself to me. So those were some of the things that stood out right away to me. And you were confident and and kind of moving along and firm, but not overly aggressive.
Thanks, Dee Dee.
Good feedback. Okay, so Kathy, what do you feel like you struggled with?
I mean, I love that I appeared confident and firm. But you know, it's a very personal thing when you're selling your own thing in your own business.
Yeah,
And so it's walking that fine line between, you know, I've got something that can really help you, but it's super personal, right? And you don't want to be rejected versus this engine that some guy invented 100 years ago. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, this is my program. I put it together based on my experience, my education, things I wish I had known. But like in the back of your mind, you're right. You're always like, am I worthy? Is this,
right.
you know what I mean? It's just,
Mhm.
you know, kind of putting squelching the fear of rejection.
Yeah, fear of rejection, it's personal. This is your baby. And what if they say no? What does that mean? That, you know, we automatically think that that means that they say that we're not, you know, we're not good enough. And that's just inner critics in your head saying, wah, wah, wah. You know, they're just whispering in your ear or yelling in your ear while
Yeah.
you're walking through this process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to give some feedback? You know, what do you feel like would have helped Kathy to be even more effective?
So I know this was like a hypothetical, but maybe just even spelling out clearly, maybe one, and if you did this, I'm sorry, I apologize, but maybe one of the things that Angie, you, the client, said they wanted to work on, maybe kind of calling that out and even talking about how Kathy's services will be able to address that.
So basically, Dee Dee, let me interpret for you. So basically, it would have been helpful for Kathy to dig in a little bit deeper to one of those pain points, and even just be more curious, asking about that, and then saying, "Oh, well, you know, that fits right in this component of this program." And so one of the things that we're going to work on is how to shift your mindset so those inner critics aren't beating you down while you're trying to show up. So that makes it even more personal and relatable to that person. Like, oh my gosh, Kathy just heard me.
Mm-hmm.
She knows exactly what's going on, and this program's already built, and they recognize that. So I'm going to get that worked through. That's Angie Nuttle's interpretation of what you just said, Dee Dee.
Thank you. Can you con with me every day and be my interpreter?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, all right. Anything else? Anything else that you feel like Kathy could do to be even more effective?
I was just going to echo. Oh, go ahead, Amanda.
Yep. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I was just going to echo what Dee Dee and Angie then interpreted. So I liked how you broke down kind of the importance of the parts of your program. And I think Angie gave you a good place to lead of, I was just going to say, maybe explain those a little bit better. Cause I think, and I do this too, like you kind of left it open of like, okay, you should understand how that'll kind of help you, but like tell them that. And I think that with what Angie said of kind of focusing on those pain points, like using the pain points to say like how Angie, the example you gave of how that'll help with your mindset. So you can kind of stop that inner critic. Cause I thought you were saying a lot of good things and it showed that you cared, breaking down like the different components of your program, but taking it a little bit further by saying exactly what it'll do for that person.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tiffany.
Amanda?
I was just curious how, Angie, you would interpret I think Kathy, you said something like it's a big investment, so I have this alternative package. So I think it's okay to offer an alternative package, because a lot of times clients, you give them 1, 2, 3. But I'm curious about how you present that, right? So I don't want to devalue my 12-step package. It's worth what that you're asking for. It's worth the price. How do you reframe that to say that in a different way? I'm just curious.
So what I'm going to say here, I always recommend that you sell your premium package, and only after they've said no, you come to the point where you say, here's the package. Here's what it comes with. Here's how it's going to help you through those pain points. Here is the investment for that. You can pay that in one payment. You can pay that. I do have flexible payment plans. You can do that up to blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to pause here and get your reaction to that. And so then you get to check in with the client, and they may say, well, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but you're worth that. So you're coming back around and you're saying, what is it? What's the value to you to turn around these pain points that you're having? And what's it going to cost you if you just keep living in these pain points?
Yep.
So there are some ways that we're getting into objections here, but basically putting that premium package forward, having confidence in it. And then if they finally say, well, no, it's just not doable for me. That's when you come in and say, well, I do have a smaller package. That's when you come in and bring the down sell.
And I would say what I picked up, or what you were objecting to, Angie, you didn't say anything about the price. You were like, I'm not sure I'm ready, but you didn't articulate, like, was it because of price? Was it because the time commitment? Was it because I'm scared? All those things. So I feel like maybe really listening to the client on what they're objecting to. Because you, Kathy, I think assumed it was price, and that really price. I don't know that was really what, Angie, you were objecting to.
Yeah, that's a great point, because usually the objections are usually around 3 main areas, and it's money, time, and experience. Money, time, and experience. So as I was walking through, for me, it was time. 12 sessions. I want to get to a result sooner. That was my mindset. And usually if you're talking to a high potential leader in a manufacturing environment who's already in a leadership position, the time factor is going to weigh heavily for them. I need answers this month, right? So, and you may even want to, as part of your conversation with that person, is to say, hey, what do you think is what's most important to you? Is it time, money, or the experience? And so they might say, well, explain a little bit. Well, is it, if you're talking about investing in a coaching program for yourself, what's going to be most important to you? Is it a coaching program where we get it done fast, or, that you're not spending a lot of time? Or is it going to be that, you have a certain budget that you have to stay within? Or what's most important to you is you have the best experience possible. So, when you ask those questions, it will help you to understand where to take the conversation next.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Golly, we need to spend 2 hours on this, y'all. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I want to give you a chance to just practice. Let's do just a quick 5-minute practice. I'm going to put you into a breakout room. Kathy, you've already done yours, so you're partnering with Deetra. So I want you to just very quickly run through how you would approach your client. And then when we come back, I'm going to give you a little bit of an assignment for next week, okay? Because we're going to continue this and we're going to grow these skills. All right, so let's go ahead and go back in for 5 minutes.
We need more time.
I know.
You'll have more time next week.
Okay. We're having a good discussion. It's been good.
Good. So anybody want to share anything, just a tidbit that you got out of that short exercise?
Amanda shared kind of what her process looks like, and it sounds like because she gets a lot of warm leads or referrals where they're pretty much already ready, it's just figuring out who they want to go with. She's been able to streamline a process where she can figure out kind of what's going on in their business, and then that gives her a good baseline of what service to refer them for.
Yeah. And when you have those warm leads, and they're wanting an answer fast, it's so important to have packages together and say, oh yes, that's, I deal with that challenge. Here is a package that we have to mitigate that. So having it ready is important. And it's different than having somebody who has more of a customized problem that needs a more customized solution. That is something that you want to take away and think about and show that you're more strategic versus, oh, here's my canned solution. So you got to look at different types of selling opportunities with different lenses. What else? Anything else that stood out in the conversation?
So I just was very transparent, and I shared with Kathy that I put a proposal together. I think it was just 2 weeks ago. And Angie, we actually had a conversation before I met with this potential client. So during the conversation, when I was sharing with her about the investment services, my inner critic arrived, the whole committee, and I got nervous because my inner critic was like, are you worth that? And are you going to be able to even develop? So I lowered the price on both of them. And she didn't even bat an eye. And so after that conversation, I was so disappointed in myself because I felt like I let my inner critic win. And after I really took a step back and looked at the time it took me to put the proposal together and everything that I had laid out, I was like, I actually should have charged even more. Like this is some good stuff. And then even 2 days after I sent it to her, she read it. She said, oh my gosh, this is such a great write-up. Oh, I can't wait to send this to my executive leader because she's going to try to have her organization pay for it. And so I'm like, Deetra. So anyway, so that was like a huge lesson learned. I still feel like the cost is enough so that I'm not like just giving, which, whatever. Yeah. But I was very disappointed in myself. So Kathy held space for me and just acknowledged and validated. You gotta give yourself grace. This is sales. This is hard. We're not used to this. So that's kind of what we talked about. So that was nice to hear. But I put myself in the corner.
Well, you definitely need to be at Women's Circle next Tuesday night because we're going to be talking about those inner critics and what they actually cost us. Yeah. So that you see there that inner critics cost you actual income.
Yeah, and the number one bullet on the proposal is me working with her on her inner critic. Yeah, let's keep that between us. Let's keep that between us, right? I know. Right. The irony in life, right?
Yeah. All right, ladies, I have another call waiting for me, but I want to give you something very important, and it is in chat. This is a link to a training that I've done in our mastermind before. We're going to visit it next week. And this is actually the detailed training and formula, it's my sales script formula. It's what I have historically used to get packages, that have created a 6-figure income for me over the course of my consulting and coaching, and I'm sharing it with you. I'm giving it to you. It works. It gets you clients. It gets you what you deserve. So that link is provided in chat. I want you to, it's got the worksheet. There's also a link to a demo video that we did, I think a year or two ago with one of our other members, Beth Barrich. And I recommend that you look over it. I recommend that you read it before you come to the mastermind next Wednesday. So that way you'll have some background on it. And I'm going to teach you this formula. And it's the formula that will help eliminate a lot of objections before they ever come up. So that way you're only dealing with, maybe 1 or 2 at the end instead of 10. All right.
Okay.
Good work today, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. And hopefully I'll see you all at the circle. It's next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. That's in person and online. And it starts at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
All right, ladies, have a good one.